The wind through the pine trees still sounded like my husband's laugh. Even after 12 years without him, the cabin we built together with our bare hands still felt like he was here, like he'd just stepped outside to gather firewood or feed the birds. Every log in the walls, every creak in the floorboards, every dent in the table told a story. Our story. I was happy here, and then Melanie came back. My daughter arrived on a Tuesday in early spring, unannounced but all smiles, arms full of takeout and a bottle of wine. She hadn't visited in over a year, said she was too busy with work and life, but I knew the truth. City life had changed her. The cabin, with its creaky doors and rustic charm, didn't match the sleek aesthetic she curated for her social media followers. Still, I was happy to see her. We sat by the fire that night, sipping wine and watching embers rise like fireflies. "It's a little quaint," she said, looking around. "You ever think about maybe modernizing a bit, knocking out a few walls, putting in some skylights?" I laughed. "And ruin the magic," she smiled, but her eyes didn't. The next day, she brought a man named Colby. "Some kind of property consultant," she said. He walked through my home like he owned it already, making notes on his phone, snapping photos. "Mom," Melanie said gently that night, "you're getting older. Don't you want to simplify your life a bit? The cabin's a lot to maintain." "It's not a burden," I replied. "It's my home," but she didn't stop. Over the next few weeks, she visited more often. Each time, her tone grew more insistent. "This place could make real money. You don't have to live here to love it. Think of it as preserving a legacy. People pay thousands for places like this. You could move into something smaller. Warmer, easier." "I don't want easier," I said. "I want my life." Then one morning, she arrived with movers. Boxes, a new cot, a heater, everything already arranged. "I had the shed cleaned up," she said too brightly. "Just for now, while I get the cabin guest ready. I'm not leaving my home." She softened her voice. "Just for a few weeks, Mom. We'll split the profits. You'll have your own little space. You said the cabin gets cold in the winter. This will be warmer, I promise." I didn't cry in front of her. But when the movers took down my photos, when they rolled up the rug my husband bought on our honeymoon, when they turned my home into a listing, I felt something crack. The shed wasn't a home. It had no running water, no insulation worth mentioning. A glorified garden box, dressed up with LED lights and throw pillows. The first night in there, I sat on the cot with my knees pulled to my chest and listened to the laughter of strangers echoing from the cabin porch. Melanie had already posted the listing, a rustic luxury getaway and heirloom cabin experience, $420 a night. She even called it Melanie's Family Legacy Retreat, and not once did she mention me, not once did she acknowledge I was still alive. I stared out the shed window into the dark woods and whispered to myself, "You forgot who built that legacy for you." I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but I knew this. She thought I was old, helpless, tucked away like a relic. She forgot something important. I am the cabin, and I don't go quietly. It's strange how silence can scream at you. In the shed, it screamed every night. I sat on that narrow cot, with my knees covered in 2 wool blankets, watching my breath fog up in the dim air. The heater hummed but barely kept the chill out. A single window, fogged, cracked at the corner, was my view into the world I once ruled. From there, I saw strangers come and go. Unaware the soul of the cabin lived just 30 feet behind them, boxed into a glorified tool shack. Each guest had a smile for Melanie, all eager for the authentic cabin experience. She played her part well. Dressed in earth tones and linen skirts, she poured them tea, gave them rehearsed speeches about her family's generational land, and told false stories about growing up in the wild woods. She never mentioned that I was the one who raised her here, who taught her how to light a fire, how to whistle for birds, how to chop wood. She'd turned my life into a polished product and sold it like it was hers. And me, I was forbidden from showing my face. Mom, she had said with a sweet yet firm smile, "You'll confuse the guests. You know how sensitive people are about elderly care. It might ruin the vibe." The vibe? I wasn't her mother anymore. I was a liability. She left me with boxed food, bottles of water, and instructions to text if I needed anything, as if she'd respond. Most nights, I heated soup on a small hot plate and watched the golden lights of my cabin flicker behind tree branches like a dream I couldn't enter. At first I cried, then I stopped, because slowly, something else grew in me. Not rage, not hatred. A colder fire, resolve. One night, when Melanie left to attend a wellness summit in the city, she forgot to lock the cabin's main entry gate. I walked the trail down to the main house, just to be near it again. My fingers trailed the railing of the porch like I was touching a long, lost lover. And then I saw the guests, a couple in their 20s, laughing by the fire pit. I turned to go, but paused when I heard one of them say, "She said her mother passed years ago. It's nice she's kept the place alive." My breath caught. She'd told them I was dead, dead. Suddenly, everything made sense. The silence, the secrecy, the need to keep me out of sight. I stumbled back to the shed and opened the old wooden trunk I had insisted on keeping. Inside, beneath quilts and old photo albums, was the fireproof folder. The one he left me. Jack had helped my husband write the documents back then. Back when trust meant something. The will, the land deed, and most importantly, the clause. If the cabin was ever used for commercial purposes without my explicit consent, the ownership would revert to the local conservation trust. It had been designed to protect our land from developers or anyone who tried to exploit it, even family. Even Melanie, she had no idea, and I wasn't going to tell her. Not yet. Instead, I began collecting evidence. Every time a new guest arrived, I wrote down the date, took blurry photos through the shed window, noted license plates. I made a log of everything, her marketing materials, her emails left open on the old tablet she forgot to take. She had built her entire image around the lie that she owned this place. But lies, like cheap cabins, always have cracks. She was planning something bigger now. I overheard her on the phone one evening, pacing on the porch. "Yes, we'll launch the wilderness wedding package by summer. I just need to clear a few things first. No, there's no legal red tape. It's mine, full ownership." I smiled in the dark. She was planning to expand, and I was planning to end it. I knew I couldn't confront her. Not yet. She'd twist the story. She'd cry on camera, spin me into the crazy, bitter old woman who couldn't let go of the past. But she couldn't spin facts. She couldn't rewrite the law. I needed one thing, Jack. The next morning, when she left for another healing retreat, I found the old emergency phone I kept hidden under the floorboards in the shed. Battery half, dead but still alive, just like me. I dialed. A voice picked up on the third ring. "Elise, I need a favor, Jack," I said. My voice was steady now, firmer than it had been in weeks. "It's about the cabin. It's happening." There was a pause. Then he said, "I'm on my way." Jack arrived 2 days later, just before sunrise, his old boots crunching against the gravel path that led to the shed. He hadn't aged much, still tall and strong for someone pushing 80, with the same knowing eyes he'd had when we all used to sit around the campfire. Me, my husband, and him, a chosen brother. His face fell when he saw me. "You're living in this." I nodded. "She calls it temporary downsizing. Says it's for my own comfort." He looked around the tiny room, the cold floor, the box of bottled water, the thin cot. Then his jaw tightened. "We're stopping this, Elise. She's gone too far. We spent the morning going through the documents together." Jack was thorough. He read every line of the trust agreement, my husband's will, and Melanie's various lies printed on glossy brochures and shared on her website. "What she's done," he said, "violates at least 4 clauses in the trust, and the one that matters most," he nodded, "full revocation. The second you formally object, the trust takes legal control of the land. She loses everything: rental rights, branding, access, all of it. We signed the papers. That night, as Melanie returned from another retreat, she didn't even glance at the shed. She walked right past me, phone in hand, laughing at some joke someone told her online. She didn't know that her world was about to shrink. The trust sent an official representative 2 days later, clipboard, badge, and camera in hand. Melanie was polite at first, as always. Sweet voice, perfect smile. "This cabin's been in my family for generations," she began. "I'm just trying to share its magic with the world." The woman from the trust raised an eyebrow. "And your mother?" Melanie blinked. "She passed years ago." I stepped out from behind the trees. She froze. The color drained from her face like the tide pulling away from a broken shell. "Hello, Melanie," I said. My voice didn't shake, still telling people I'm dead. The trust agent glanced between us, then quietly handed her the legal documents. "This land has been reclaimed," the woman explained. "Due to breach of agreement, all rights revert to the Conservation Trust. Effective immediately. You have 72 hours to vacate." Melanie laughed. "No," she said, eyes darting, reaching for her phone. "There's some mistake. I own this place, my mother. I never signed it over." I cut in. "You never even asked. You just took it." "Mom, please, you put me in a shed." I said. "You told the world I was dead. You paraded around in my life and called it yours, and now you want mercy." She looked like a little girl again for a moment, lost, alone, but I'd already mourned her. "You forgot who built this life," I whispered. "You forgot what it cost." She didn't say another word. By the end of the 3rd day, she was gone, her car packed with what little she was allowed to take. Her followers online had already begun to question the disappearance of the listing, the silence on her feed, the whispers of fraud. The trust had filed a quiet report for elder abuse, but I didn't push for more. Some things unravel themselves. And me, I walked back into the cabin. It was quieter now, but still alive. I lit a fire, opened the windows wide, and let the air in. Then I called the local women's center. "I'd like to donate the cabin," I said. "Not the land, just the space. For women who need a place to rest, write, recover. No profit, no cameras, just peace." They cried. I did too. That night I sat on the porch, the stars wide and cold above me. The shed still stood in the back, empty and dark. I left it there, a monument to everything I survived, and a warning to anyone who thinks kindness means weakness. I am not what she made me. I am what I chose to become. And now, finally, I am free.